As the sun rises and we continue to heal from the global pandemic, North Carolina is at the center of great change. Our state continues to grow, and as we push forward with a renewed sense of urgency, we are preparing future generations for what feels like never-ending waves of disruptions. Change is faster than ever. Technology is better than ever. And North Carolina is the forefront of that change. As we embrace transformative technologies, bolster our commitment to safety, enhance and strengthen our workforce development, and seize economic opportunities, North Carolina is prepared to take advantage of these changes to transform from the birthplace of aviation to the home of modern transportation infrastructure. We will continue to push forward, to open new doors for the good of the people worldwide and communities across our great state. And that's why you, our partners, are all here. Welcome to the 2023 North Carolina Transportation Summit.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome North Carolina Board of Transportation Chair and Division 7 Representative, Mike Fox.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a great North Carolina morning. I'm happy to see a great crowd, see our Board of Transportation seated right up here. My name is Mike Fox, and I have the privilege of being on the Board of Transportation and serve as the chairman of the board. The future is coming at the speed of change. And that makes sense, right? We all know change is inevitable, and that's why we hold this summit, is to be prepared for it, to help us get in front of it and use it to advance our state and take us to places where we've never been before. During this two-day event, we're going to take a deep dive into the future of the transportation industry and what that may mean for North Carolina. As in years past, we'll hear from technology, transportation, business, and governmental experts who will bring us new ideas and new perspectives. Your presence here today tells us you know how important these conversations are if North Carolina is to remain competitive on the global stage. We're excited to see what we can accomplish with you, our partners today, as we navigate through the changes that are no doubt on the way. To experience the summit sessions to their fullest, we encourage you to download the event app sponsored by KPMG. To access the app, visit your app store and search for Create Events. I know all of you have one of these in your pocket, so that's what you need to pull out and do this if you haven't done yet. From there, open it and search NC Transportation Summit 2023. The app will provide you with an up-to-the-minute agenda over the next 2 days and allows you to network with other attendees and participate interactively with the sessions. You'll use the app to ask questions, participate in session surveys, and connect and network with other people that you've never or rarely interact with. It is a great tool to reach everyone in this crowd if we all use it. There's also a game in the app, and the winning participant will receive a Transportation Summit themed gift. We'll give a moment for those of you who haven't already found it and downloaded the app, or simply scan the code that you can see here. And for those of you who may not know, you take a picture of that, and then it comes up on your phone and you tap it. Carly would be proud of me for knowing that. All right, a reminder to everyone posting to social media throughout the summit, please use the hashtag TransportNC23. This will help keep us all at the summit. I'll keep all summit-related posts together and easily searchable, and helps others find your post. Thank you. I'd like to thank our partner in the summit, NC Go. We're very fortunate to have Mark Finlayson and his team on our side over the years. They've been such dedicated partners of ours and advocates for transportation and infrastructure improvement in North Carolina. We also want to take the time to extend our gratitude to our many sponsors and exhibitors who truly make this summit possible. And you can see our sponsors are going to come up on the screen in just a minute here. As a special thanks to our welcome reception sponsor, HNTB, for their support. We hope all of you can join us tonight for the reception happening at 5 p.m. in the exhibit hall. I'd also like to thank our crucial high visibility sponsors, our platinum level sponsors, our gold level sponsors, our team of silver sponsors, and our very important bronze sponsors. And finally, our copper sponsors. You thought we were running out of medals, didn't you? Your support of the summit and transportation is critical to our success. Please make sure to visit the booths and the vendors down in the exhibit hall during the meals and tonight's reception. Also, while in the exhibit hall, please take a minute to visit the Office of Civil Rights Business and Development Zone, right in front and in the center of the trade show floor. This is a great chance to connect with members of our team and learn more about doing business with NCDOT. You'll notice the business development is designated as a breakout session on both days. If you are with a small, disadvantaged, or historically underutilized business, take advantage of this opportunity to meet with our team and with larger firms to explore business collaboration opportunities. Also new this year, we have a career fair that is free and accessible to the public that will be held throughout the day today and tomorrow in room 304. We encourage you to drop by, and if you know someone who is not attending the summit who would like to attend the career fair, please let them know that the door is open for that opportunity. You don't need a summit badge to check out the career fair. Now, if you please stand for the presentation of the colors by the members of the Army Junior ROTC Color Guard from Enloe High School under the leadership of Major Charles S. Robbins. After the presentation of the colors, please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the national anthem performed by award-winning gospel singer Kim Person. Will you join me, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
Let's give another big round of applause to the Enloe High School and to Kim Person. Well, if that didn't wake you up, there's not enough coffee here for you, so thank you again, Kim. You can be seated now. It's my pleasure, excuse me, to bring our event partner to the podium. Many of you know him through his work with the Highway 17 Association. Through that organization, he was asked to co-chair NCGO, the statewide transportation advocacy coalition. He's had a long and successful career in public affairs. As the chair of NCGO, he's been a tireless advocate for strong transportation policy and investment. NCGO has been a great summit partner since day one, and since the beginning, we couldn't be more thankful to collaborate with them. This event is not possible without their support. Please help me welcome Mark Finlayson.
Thanks very much, Chairman Fox. Delighted to be here. As chair of NCGO and on behalf of NCGO's Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome each of you to the 2023 North Carolina Transportation Summit. For more than 20 years, NCGO has been the leading statewide voice calling for increased investment in our transportation system for all modes across all parts of our state. And as with previous transportation summits, this event is an important part of the discussion around transportation investment and modernization. And NCGO is proud to partner with the NC Department of Transportation on this important event once again. The pace of technological change in this world is rapid, and while these rapid changes might seem most obvious with our smart devices or our smart home technology, they extend to transportation just the same. New technology promises exciting advances and improvements for mobility, safety, connectivity, and efficiency. But at the same time, it creates challenges we scarcely imagined 20 years ago when NCGO was just getting started, much less in 1921 when our gas tax was first enacted. Tomorrow's transportation system will be interconnected. The system and roadways will communicate with our vehicles, while our vehicles communicate with other vehicles around us. We'll continue to move away from privately owned vehicles to shared on-demand vehicles. And the use of alternative fuel vehicles like EVs will outpace gas and diesel-powered passenger and commercial vehicles. But most importantly, this glimpse into the future looks more and more like the realities we see today. And that's why we must plan for tomorrow's technology and for tomorrow's interconnected transportation system now and find solutions on how we pay for all of this. We need modern, novel funding mechanisms that adapt to change. And again, that's what NCGO has worked for more than 20 years and why we partner on this important event. NCGO looks forward to the creative and innovative ideas which are generated every time this summit brings all of you together, because you all 1,000 of you, are our state's best and brightest transportation experts. Thank you very much. Have a great summit.
Thank you, Mark. The dedication of transportation-related businesses and advocates is incredible, and NCGO certainly fits this description, as do many of you in this room. I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with our next speaker for many years. He actually started his career at NCDOT many, many years ago, and he's worn many hats within the department, including Chief Information Officer, Inspector General, and the DMV Commissioner before moving over to the State Department of Information Technology to serve as Secretary and State Chief Information Officer. We were very glad when Governor Cooper asked him to return home to NCDOT. His career has truly prepared him to lead in this role, and he's here at a time when his skill set is truly needed, and for that, we're fortunate. Please join me in welcoming North Carolina Transportation Secretary Eric Boyette.
Good morning. Oh man, that was weak. Come on. Good morning. There we go. Mike, thank you. And once again, I want to thank Mike and Mark for their partnership. When you look at partnerships at NCDOT, we know, everyone in this room knows how important that is, and everyone knows Mike and Mark both are true partners. Mike has been our board chair for transportation for representing Division 7 since 2017, but prior to that, he also served on the board from 2010 to 2013. He's also one of the top attorneys in the country, and I can tell you, you won't find a better leader for our policy board anywhere. And we wouldn't have been able to launch this summit back in 2019 if it weren't for the support of Mark and NCGO and his team. Once again, Mark, thank you for making sure that we make this event possible for everyone in this room. We're glad you all could join us for another Transportation Summit. We're excited for what the future holds in North Carolina in transportation. I know we're all sitting on the edge of our seats. I know I am. But there's a lot of possibilities that are there for us. In the next 2 days, please take your time, listen, and enjoy everything that you're going to go through. As we begin, I'm going to ask you to open up what you saw, that QR code. Mike, actually, I was proud of him. He knew you could take a picture. Pull your app out, and we're going to have our first interactive question of the day. Should see it on your screen. There we go. So what is the biggest challenge facing our transportation system over the next 10 years? Is it material cost escalations? Is it labor shortages? Aging infrastructure? Transitioning to a new technology or technologies? There's a lot of good options there in those answers. We'll give you a moment, and we're going to review these later on, so don't feel pressed, but I'll give you a few minutes. So if you look at 2022 and our accomplishments, we've done a lot. We've done a lot this past year that's going to strengthen our transportation system, help us prepare our path into the next chapter. Each mode of our transportation in North Carolina, you know, we've had great success since we were last here. NCDOT, we've awarded over 530 contracts in 2022, totaling about $3.5 billion in construction and maintenance. These projects are expected to improve safety, reduce congestion, provide connectivity and multimodal options, replace bridges, and improve our resiliency for our great state. We've implemented new technologies that improves our daily lives, like DMV's Q Anywhere system. It's a service that allows our citizens and our customers to come in, check in a driver's license office, scan a QR code, and it sends a short text message so that you hold your place in line, which allows you then to roam a little bit. You don't have to stand in line. You can walk around, sit in your car, run a short errand, so you know you hold your place in line. Our Integrated Mobility Division has won federal grants that will help expand not only our on-demand transit services, but help our communities along the future S-Line, passenger rail line plan that we have, and connect those people to different types of travel with mobility hubs. Our NC by Train had more people ride the state's intercity passenger rail service in October than its entire 32-year history. And I couldn't stand up here without talking about First in Flight. We're always a leader in flight, and if you read our State of Aviation report, it recently shows our highlights on how North Carolina carried more cargo than we ever have in our history. We opened up new markets to passenger service. We've enhanced the airport facilities, hosted the world's 5th busiest airport, and welcomed new airlines and aerospace companies that now call North Carolina home. Our great deep water ports in Wilmington and Moorhead, record years for cargo, just another success. We've also found ways that we need to stand up to new challenges, and how can we step up in areas where we know we can improve. The department has proactively pursued grants, opportunities for all projects that we know our communities want, need, and will use. And our communities know that we will continue to apply for every grant that we can. Our staff has already secured several discretionary grants that restore or replace bridges, add sidewalks, add multi-use paths, and provide equitable transportation options in communities in the western part of our state. Let's talk about the labor force front. NCDOT isn't immune. We've had all the challenges that everyone in this room has experienced over the past few years. But you know, we've been very intentional in our efforts. How do we attract prospective employees and grow our workforce to make sure we meet the demands of our great state? And you heard from Chairman Fox. I encourage you to check, if you're interested, check out our current opportunities in our career fair down in room 304. I had to put that plug in, I'm sorry. Another one of our priorities in developing workforce is we got to develop our workforce that is representative of North Carolina's diverse population. We want a diverse, equitable, and inclusive workforce. And our Deputy Secretary, Ebony Pittman, will discuss this very topic with our Women in Leadership and Transportation during a general session this afternoon. I can tell you I'm going to be in attendance to listen to that one. As many of you know, we have been holding quarterly information sessions and outreach sessions with our small businesses and those owned by women and minorities to help them learn about the Department of Transportation. How do I do work with NCDOT? These networking sessions and outreach sessions are critical and have benefited hundreds of businesses. The whole point of the business development zone that you heard Mike speak about downstairs and the trade show floor, make sure you stop by there. It's a great time to interact, learn about the contracting opportunities and what our future looks like. This all gives you an idea of where we are today. Where do we stand? Where things stand today? And I can tell you, I believe with my heart, we do great work in our agency, and we are headed in the right direction now. But we do have a long way to go. So what should we do to build the future of North Carolina for transportation? It's a good question, and I can tell you tomorrow we've got another general session with our Chief Engineer, Chris Peoples, who's leading that one, who will really dig into that. We know we have to have adequate funding. All of our communities are in need, and we know that. Our General Assembly, all of our federal partners, we're certainly grateful for the measures that they're taking to modernize our transportation funding. The bipartisan infrastructure law has injected hundreds of millions of dollars into our transportation funding, and it'll do that for the next 5 years. We even got an extra boost when Governor Cooper signed our state budget into law back in July. As most of you are aware, the budget included a provision that moved or dedicated a portion of the state sales tax to fund transportation projects from our General Assembly, and we thank them for that. We appreciate any time our federal and state partners and leaders support our department and help us deliver the projects that our communities need because of their growing demands upon them. Funding the future of transportation is the topic of tomorrow's Policymaker Roundtable, and I know we're all looking forward to that. We've accomplished a lot together, but there's more that we need to do. At North Carolina Department of Transportation, we rely on the support of our partners. That's each and every one of you in this room, all of our partners. We cannot deliver anything without you. We have to continue having these conversations, coordinating on all of our efforts to improve the quality of life for all of our North Carolinians in this great state. I encourage you all to network during this event, make new connections, friends, see some old friends, talk to each other, and make sure, because we're going to have experts here that are going to help steer these conversations over the next few days. Really take the time to go through and look at all the modes of transportation. A lot of topics here are going to be covered that have never been covered before, and each of our speakers bring valuable input to each of their sessions. We're just so excited to hear what they have to say and share with us on the conversations and where it takes us. Again, welcome, and thank you all for joining us. And now, it's my great honor to introduce our next speaker this morning, who some of you may recognize and may know. He's in his second term as North Carolina's 75th governor. He's a lifelong North Carolinian. He got to start in public service in the NC State House and Senate. He served as a state attorney general for 4 terms before becoming elected governor and assuming that office in 2017. And we're thrilled to have him and grateful to have him with us this morning. Please join me in welcoming my friend, Governor of the great state of North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper.
Thank you very much. I see familiar faces that have helped make North Carolina great over the decades. So welcome everybody, glad you're here. Talk about perfect timing. Just came in walked right up on the stage just as he was finishing the introduction. I'm really proud of myself. Secretary Boyette, thank you for that introduction and for your strong leadership. I appreciate the good work that our North Carolina Department of Transportation and the employees do to make it all happen. I also want to acknowledge the ubiquitous Mike Fox, the chair of the North Carolina Board of Transportation. I don't know how you go all where you are, and I see we have a number of board members who are here. Thank you guys for coming. Also want to thank our Chairman Mark Finlayson and the transportation and business industry leaders in the room, along with local officials and state legislators. Grateful for your work. You know, getting people from one place to the next as safely and quickly as possible is a cornerstone, not only of our economy, but of people's everyday lives, from doctor's appointments to commuting to and from work and school, to getting supplies and goods to small businesses. Reliable transportation is critical for people and businesses to succeed. And we have known that significant investments in our transportation infrastructure were needed for decades. Promises, promises, promises. Now they are finally here. The historic funding from the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act signed by President Biden will help make generational change that can help our communities grow and thrive. We're already seeing positive impacts on our state, from ports to railways to roads and to bridges. In June, I joined White House Infrastructure Coordinator Mitch Landrieu to announce a $57.9 million grant for the Raleigh to Richmond corridor, expanding our passenger rail services to get North Carolinians where they need to be in a faster, more efficient, and more reliable way. A few weeks ago, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and I announced $110 million to rebuild the Alligator River Bridge, which will fortify the lifeline to our eastern counties. And we've celebrated the funding of up to $109 million for electric vehicle infrastructure, which we will put in place for our state. That charging infrastructure is critical as we move to electric vehicles in North Carolina. And these once-in-a-generation investments are just part of what's coming. In fact, we are just getting started. We're going to compete for every federal dollar. And we'll continue to invest in our state's transportation, public transportation, repairing our roads and bridges, making cyclist and pedestrian improvements, modernizing our rail, ports, and airports, and expanding our electric vehicle charging infrastructure, as I mentioned. North Carolina is quickly becoming the center of our country's clean energy economy. Companies are taking notice because we have been intentional. In 2022, we saw major economic development announcements that highlight our leadership to transition to a clean energy economy, including Wolfspeed's new semiconductor plant, Boom Supersonics' low-emission and sustainable aircraft factory, Toyota's new EV battery plant, Forza X1's new electric recreational boat manufacturing plant, and of course, the first North American plant for electric vehicle manufacturer, VinFast. North Carolina finally got that car plant that we've been working for. And it took an EV manufacturer for us to get that done. All of these wins are part of the record-breaking year for new jobs in our state. And they played a role in CNBC and Business Facilities Magazine naming North Carolina as America's top state for business. Everybody in this room deserves credit for that. The workforce in North Carolina deserves credit for that, and I'm proud of it. The clean transportation future is here, and we are ready to lead the way. Everywhere you look, leading auto manufacturers are shifting to electric vehicles. You just talk to any CEO, they're racing to compete. They don't want to be left out. Of course, this natural market transformation is good for our environment and our health. But what we can all agree on is that it's good for our pocketbooks. We're already seeing the positive economic results of making clean energy a focus. Last January, I signed Executive Order 246, taking steps to transition to a clean transportation future, following on the heels of House Bill 951, which moves our power generation to carbon zero. That order directs the North Carolina Department of Transportation to create a North Carolina Clean Transportation Plan to decarbonize the transportation sector over time while pushing for an increase in zero-emission vehicles and the infrastructure that we need to support them. Now, we already know that our transportation sector, particularly in the area of medium and heavy-duty trucks, is the largest contributor of greenhouse gas emissions, which hurt our health and disproportionately impact disadvantaged communities. This plan will help us rectify that. We also know that these same medium to heavy-duty truck manufacturers are rapidly moving to electric vehicles, and many businesses are already demanding them for their fleets of vans, buses, and trucks. In October, I signed Executive Order 271, directing the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality to work with a broad group of stakeholders to propose the Advanced Clean Trucks program. This will help us make sure that North Carolina businesses that want to buy electric trucks will be able to have more options at cheaper prices. And importantly, the order directs establishment of a robust strategy to support the truck manufacturers and the truck fleet owners during the transition to clean transportation with a strong electric charging infrastructure and a quality workforce. And it's important to point out the success and the future of public transportation in North Carolina, including our railroads and ports, that are crucial to connecting our communities and businesses. In fact, and Secretary Boyette will like this, in 2022, NC by Train, North Carolina's intercity passenger rail service between Charlotte, Raleigh, and the Northeast, broke its annual record for ridership with over 522,000 passengers. At a time when travel patterns have seen significant disruption, this is great news and highlights just how bright North Carolina's public transportation future is. In March of last year, I toured the new Southgate Container Complex at the Port of Wilmington, which is helping get products from ship to shelf, shoring up the supply chain, boosting our economy, and giving our state a competitive advantage for years to come. I appreciate Bob Wicker's leadership and the Port Authority Board of Directors that's working so hard. As we move forward in a rapidly changing economy, the quality and availability of our workforce means more than ever. When I talk to CEOs, the top 3 issues they want to talk to me about are workforce, workforce, and workforce. I'm proud of the priority that Secretary Boyette and his team have made toward increasing and diversifying the transportation workforce in our state. That commitment includes a focus on trying to attract and maintain a qualified workforce that is as rich and diverse as the people of this great state. And they're conducting outreach to small and disadvantaged businesses, supporting fellowships and internships for students attending our state's historically black colleges and universities, and partnering with local school districts to educate and recruit youth and telling them about careers in transportation. I want to thank Secretary Boyette and his team for continuing to focus on growing our workforce in ways that increase opportunities for everybody so that businesses can get the workers they need. Together, we can continue to transition to a clean and reliable transportation future, invest in our infrastructure, and bring even more jobs to our state. And I know all of you here today are joining us in charting this course as we strengthen our communities and our economy. We're grateful for your partnership, and we look forward to working together as we move into the future. We cannot build and maintain the transportation system of today or tomorrow without you. Thank you, everybody, for being here today and being part of this important conversation. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Governor Cooper. It's truly been one of the great privileges of my life to be able to serve in your administration, and we really appreciate all the things you've done for transportation and our state as well. Let's give Governor Cooper another round of applause. I told y'all would enjoy that. I hope everyone learned more than a few things. We're also very excited. I'm going to give you some final logistics here for what's happening next, as well as tell you a little bit about our next session, which you're going to be really excited about, as well as all the other things that we have over the next 2 days. But first, let's look at the results of our poll question. So can we get that on the screen? So obviously, aging infrastructure is the winner here. But other things are important. The material cost escalation seems to be viewed as a more short-term problem here. A few housekeeping notes. The program is on the app that we talked about. Hopefully all of you were able to download it. And if you listen to Alicia, if you're in that generation, you're having challenges with that, find a younger person sitting next to you. Make a friend. You're free to select any of the breakout sessions that you're interested in, this afternoon and over the next couple of days. You'll be able to sign in at the entrances to the sessions to log your professional development hours if that's part of why you're here. There are also multiple opportunities for you to engage with the speakers during the summit. Please watch the screens for more information. Snacks are outside the ballroom, and all the meals will be downstairs in the exhibit hall. And I would encourage each of you while you're down there to visit the vendors and the exhibitors. Following the upcoming break, we're going to return to this room at 10:45 for our first general session, Why North Carolina Transportation's Role in Economic Development. And I can tell you, you're going to want to be here in that room for that, because unless you've just been asleep somewhere underneath a rock, you know that 2022 was an amazing record-setting year for economic development in the state of North Carolina, resulting in, once again, us being named one of the top state for business in the whole country. And our next general session will have Chris Chung, who's the leader of the EDPNC, the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, who they play a critical role in recruiting companies there. But also, we'll have three representatives of three of our largest investments in North Carolina, those record-setting investments both in terms of dollars and jobs. So you're going to want to hear from those folks as to, talk about why they chose to come here. And we're excited and appreciative of them coming here. And so at this time, I'll let you go to your break, and please be back in here promptly at 10:45. Thank you very much.